Hello, my name is Ailsa and I'm here today to talk about my August reading goals. I can't believe we're in August already. I feel like it was January so recently, and there are so many books from this year that I plan to read this year that I've not got around to yet, and that's getting a little intimidating now. But anyway, the first book I am going to read in August, I actually might end up finishing before August even starts because I started reading last night and I'm hoping to whiz through it this weekend because I know I'm going to get stuck into it very quickly. And that is Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers. I picked this up in Forbidden Planet this week, and you can probably tell by the wee sticker that I haven't got around to taking it off yet. And this is a signed copy that I got there, and it has, I have to show you under the dust jacket, because as well as this lovely spacey cover that it's got on the outside, it is blue underneath, and it says, "From the ground we stand, from our ship we live, by the stars we hope." And that is like one of the mottos of some of the key people in this book. Inside, we have these gorgeous end papers, which I believe were designed as part of a competition for something else, and then the publisher, which is Hodder and Stoughton, loved them so much that they decided to put them as end papers on the first edition as well. I was kind of half thinking that I would hold out buying this until maybe it got into paperback, or at least until I found a deal for it. But I couldn't resist the fact that it was signed and that it had these end papers in it. This is the third novel set in her world, which starts with The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, which I read a couple of years ago and absolutely loved. It's a series of books set in space, but really the focus of the books is on the people in them, the relationships between them, whether that's friendships, family relationships, or romantic relationships. It's about what makes people people. I don't want to say what makes us human, because there are a lot of sapient species in it who are not human, and the series so far has been equally focused on them. I'm not going to go too much into detail about this book now, but I will probably do a review video for it when I'm finished. The next book that I want to read in August is another one which I picked up at Forbidden Planet this week, and that is Tricks for Free by Seanan McGuire. This is the latest book in her Encrypted series. The first couple of books were about Verity, then there were a couple about her brother Alex, and this is now about the youngest sibling of the three of them, and that is Antimony. This is the second of Antimony's books. I really can't say anything about the plot of this one without spoiling the last couple of books in the series, because there was some big stuff that happened in those, but I really love Seanan's writing. I love this world, this series, so I'm really excited to get into this. I'm also quite pleased to see that it's slightly thicker than a couple of the other books in this series. I'm really excited to get stuck into it and find out what happens next for these characters. The next book to mention that I want to read this coming month is Circe by Madeleine Miller. I have started reading this. It was lent to me by one of my colleagues, and it's interesting so far, but I'm not blown away by it. I don't feel like there is a gripping plot pulling things forwards, and I think that's really, it means that I'm reading it slower, because I'm not like, oh, I must find out what happens next. It's just kind of, oh, here's the thing that happened, here's another thing that happened. One of my other colleagues who has also read this book said that I might feel like that all the way through then. So I'm going to maybe give it another 50 pages or so and see how I feel, and then if I am still not loving it, then we'll just stop. It's not that I'm disliking it, but I have a whole bookshelf of things just out of screen here that I want to read at some point. There is not enough time in my life to spend it pushing through books that I'm just not loving. So we'll see how I get on with that. That is the book that I am reading on my commutes, my lunch break at the moment. So hopefully I'll get a bit more through that book this week, and I will see if I'm going to carry on with it. My next tube read after Circe is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. This is a book I'd kind of seen it floating around and not really thought much about it. And then I saw the book trailer that there was popping up on YouTube, and I thought it sounded maybe a bit more interesting. And another of my colleagues at work, the same one who lent me Circe, has lent me her copy. She didn't love the book. I'm not sure what I'll think of it. It's really not the sort of book that I would normally pick up, but I am curious about it, so I will see how I get on with that. Another book I'm trying to get read this month, I hate to say it, I have still not finished reading Godsgrave. This is partly because this is a book that I am not taking out of the house with me. I don't want to damage it, but the downside to that, to reading it at home, means that most of my home reading I do before bed, and this book can be quite stressful in places, and a lot of the time I do not need that kind of stress right before I go to sleep, so I sometimes skip over it in favour of something else. So we shall see how I get on with this one, if I can hopefully finish it up in August. Another book which I've carried over from previous months that I started and still haven't finished is H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. I think this might be another one that I take as tube reading if I finish Conversations with Friends. It is a really, really short book. I'll check how many pages. Including all the afterwards and analysis and stuff that are in this. This is only 125 pages. So really, I should read it in about a day if I take one day, read it on the tube, read it in my lunch break. And maybe I will just do that one day as a break from one of those other books. We'll see, and this is one of the books that I'm reading for my personal classic sci-fi and fantasy challenge. So we'll see how that goes. The final book that I am really hoping to read in August is a proof, although it's a book that came out in June, and that is A Demon in Silver by R.S. Ford. I believe this might be a debut. It is a fantasy novel. The first line on the back of the book says, "When a young farm girl, Livia, demonstrates magical powers for the first time in a century, there are many across the land that will kill to obtain her power." And for me, farm girl who suddenly develops magic is obviously a story that we've seen before, although usually with a boy as the main character, but still, it is a trope that I really enjoy reading. So yeah, that grabbed me. I will see how I get on with this. This is published by Titan Books, and I will let you know what I think of it. I am hoping that I will get to read some more books than that this month, but I'm so much of a mood reader that I don't like to set prescribed things too much for myself. Reading is really something I do for fun, and if I give myself too big of a monthly TBR goals pile thing, then it becomes more of a struggle. It's like, oh, here is a goal I'm not meeting, here's a thing that I haven't done enough of, and I really don't want reading to feel like that. So we'll see what I get on. I will do a monthly wrap up at the end of August. Haven't done one of those for a couple months, so let's get back to that and see if I have read any of these, or if there are other exciting new things that I end up reading. I am going to the Nine Worlds convention in London in August, and I'm sure that I will end up buying some books there, or at least adding some authors to my list that I need to get hold of soon. If you are going to Nine Worlds, it would be lovely to catch up with you. If we've met before, lovely to catch up. If I've not met yet, lovely to make new friends. Let me know in the comments or on Twitter, and I will talk to you soon. Bye!